everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're hitting another training hike as we gear up for the Tour de Mont Blanc, just 2.5 weeks away. This time we're exploring the beautiful Golden Gate Canyon State Park in Colorado, which is just a quick 45-minute drive from our homes in Denver. Golden Gate Canyon State Park offers over 35 miles of trails, but today we're tackling the Mountain Lion and Burro Loop, which is a 6-mile circuit and just shy of 1,500 feet of elevation gain. The trail starts at 7,581 feet and climbs up to its highest point at 8,901 feet. It's the perfect mix of distance, elevation, and stunning scenery to keep our legs strong and lungs ready for the Alps. We decided to hike the loop counterclockwise, which means you hit the steepest climbs right out of the gate. The plan? Knock those out early while it was still cool. Well, that was the strategy anyway. We started at 8:30 a.m. and for about 10 glorious minutes it actually was cool. Then the clouds burned off and the sun came out hot. Classic Colorado. Golden Gate Canyon is packed with history. It became Colorado's second state park back in 1960 after the state bought its first 200 acres here, eventually growing into over 12,000 acres. But the story really starts much earlier. Indigenous people like the Ute, Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Comanche lived on these lands for centuries, hunting big game and foraging the terrain. Fast forward to 1859, and the gold rush drew white settlers under the Homestead Act. Families built cabins, barns, and believe it or not, even distilleries during Prohibition. Supposedly, you can still find the ruins of old bootlegger cabins along some of the trails here. The second half of our hike was mostly pleasant, winding through plenty of tree-lined paths that offered refreshing patches of shade. A few miles in, we spotted our first wildlife, wild turkey. Not quite the elusive moose we were hoping for, but still pretty cool to see them strutting like they own the place. One of the surprises on today's hike? The wildflowers. They're still blooming even though it's mid-July. Around the highest point on the trail, we started to hear thunder rumbling off in the distance and saw rain falling way off across the valley. For a minute, we thought we were in for a classic Colorado afternoon storm. About 4.5 miles into the trek, we came across a historic cabin and some outbuildings beside a pond. This is the historic Tallman Ranch, nestled in what's called Forgotten Valley. This wasn't just a cabin in the woods. It was a working Swedish homestead starting in the 1870s and lived in by 4 generations until about 1955. We feel incredibly lucky to have these amazing mountains right in our own backyard, perfect for not just hiking but for training too. Plus, getting used to the high elevation here is a huge advantage for us as we prepare to take on the TMB. Thank you so much for joining us on the Mountain Lion and Burro Loop Trail in the Golden Gate Canyon State Park. If you liked this video and want to see what adventures the sisters get into next, don't forget to like and subscribe.